character Elesis is a rather recent addition to Elsword, having been released less than 2 years ago in Korea and less than a year ago in North American servers. Her first class path, Saber Knight and Grand Master, is similar to the Elboy's Lord Knight path and represent a character strong in physical attack, defense, and hit points. Conversely, we have her Pyro Knight and Blazing Heart path, which is much more balanced between physical and magical and bring about lots of fire. While Raw Power and Pyromania are fun, Elesis' third job path has just started to make its way into North American servers after debuting last August in Korea. I'm going to be taking a look at this path, starting with her first job class, with a focus on player versus enemy. If you're looking for a particular topic, there's links in the description to each section of the video. Dark Knight represents the dark side within Elesis. That is, the side of her which pursues darkness instead of righteousness as a way to achieve justice and stop the villains of the Elsword universe. This by itself is a neat idea, seeing a noble knight turn to darkness for her cause. It's reminiscent of Elboy's own Infinity Sword class, though not quite the same. But realistically, the perceived fascination with Elesis' Dark Knight job is not the story behind her. Rather, her gameplay and skills are what make her worth mentioning. Dark Knight uses her own blood to enhance her attack abilities. In fact, each of her combos is titled with Bloodlust. Dark Knight's first combo is Blood Slash, which is performed using ZZZXX. This extends her basic ZZZX slash combo and replaces the final hit with several bloody strikes. This isn't Dark Knight's most remarkable combo, but it's definitely useful, and does a decent amount of damage despite how simple and quick it is to pull off. The second combo is Blood Wave, which is a dash jump combo performed by using XXX. This adds a strike onto the end of Ellis' basic dash jump XX combo, which does decent physical damage before sending a wave of blood forward which consumes MP but remains a physical damage attack. Personally, I found Ellis' base aerial strike to be quite useful, and this move makes it much more so. Enough so that I find myself using this move more frequently than other characters' aerial strikes. The third and final combo Dark Knight received is aptly named Bloody Combo, and is a repeatable slash which is triggered by pressing X 3 or more times from a standing position. Though a maximum of only 7 hits can be achieved through repetition, the final hit hits the enemy up into the air to allow for continued comboing. This move actually puts you into super armor, making you temporarily uninterruptible while also sliding you forward with each strike. It's incredibly useful for stacking enemies on top of each other and dealing repeated strikes, not to mention how easy it is to actually get the move started and to keep it going. All 3 combos move Dark Knight forward to a good degree, allowing her to keep the pressure on whomever it is she is attacking. All in all, Dark Knight's combos are pretty darn good, especially for her first job change. Dark Knight's skills are definitely no slouch either. She comes equipped with 4 total passives and 8 total actives. The first passive is basic strength training, which isn't really that remarkable. It increases physical attack and defense. Yay, I guess? The second passive is Dark Force Two-Faced Darkness, which affects how Ellis' gauge system works with Dark Knight. This passive basically makes Dark Knight amazing. The Annihilation gauge is nothing really interesting from what I can tell, but with this passive, when Dark Knight charges up her Gale gauge, she can use Gale-based combos or actives to quickly recharge her health. This is most apparent somewhere like the Gates of Darkness, where the number of enemies hit with one strike is substantial, but it can come in handy during boss battles as well. The third and fourth passives are not available until level 35, and are in direct competition with each other, so the player can only pick one. Overflowing Blood provides a somewhat convoluted system of regeneration, giving Dark Knight a chance to recover HP through attacking enemies. On the other hand, Overflowing Madness allows Elesis to recover MP more easily, as well as receive a chance to ignore enemy defenses. Both systems work differently at different levels of current HP, so they require a bit of strategy to use well. Which one you pick depends entirely on playstyle, and both are fairly effective when used well. Dark Knight's first active is Kick, available at level 25, which is most useful for PvP. It allows you to stun an enemy and reduce their knockdown counter, and has a pretty low mana cost and cooldown time. For PvE players, this move isn't very useful, though it might help continuing combos on bosses or other high defense enemies. Or, just kicking your opponents in the face when they piss you off. The second active is Brutal Cutter, one of my favorites, also available at level 25. It uses a fair amount of MP, 100 in total, but deals 8 consecutive hits in a very short duration, and then gives a short buff allowing for the possibility to deal double hits. My personal favorite part of this move is how awesome this sword effect is when buffed though. Guilty as charged. The third and fourth actives are Dark Wave and Injection Stigma. Dark Wave lets Dark Knight rush forward, group up enemies, and deal continuous damage, and then execute a final smash on them. While I like this move, I find it's very glitchy, and half the time I either end up sending my targets flying or charging right through them. Injection Stigma is locked and requires the basic manual to use. It creates an initial burst of energy and then surrounds you with swords, a bit like Infinity Sword is capable of, which can stun and hit enemies. Honestly, I didn't find this move as useful as I would have liked. It's probably primed for PvP, which is Dark Knight's specialty, but except for its initial burst, I felt like the move was a bit underwhelming. The 5th active is my absolute favorite skill of the Dark Knight path so far, titled Ejection Buster. No, not like that. Come on, guys. Get your dirty minds out of the gutter. Anyway, it allows for Dark Knight to fire a stream of so-called evil energy, though it really just looks like a ray of blood to me, and deals massive damage. It can also be charged to fire even further and deal more damage. This is a great floor clearer and has a huge vertical hitbox, meaning you can hit basically every enemy at once. Incredible move, especially for its 150 MP cost. The 6th active is Iron Body, Strong. This is again a PvP-oriented move. For a few seconds, Dark Knight buffs herself, causing knockback when attacked and increasing her attack power. This is a pretty useful move, but it's just a buff and initially costs 10 skill points, not to mention that it does take up an active slot, so PvE players might not find it super useful. The 7th and 8th actives are Brandish Breaker and Burning Phantom, which again are in competition with one another, though Burning Phantom is locked without the intermediate manual. Brandish Breaker deals several hits which look like claw strikes on the screen, and that's it. It does a decent bit of damage and does several hits, and it has the potential to do some nice healing, but it has neither remarkable damage nor aesthetics. On the other hand, the locked Burning Phantom skill is much more useful, behaving like a black hole to bring enemies in and deal massive damage to the targets. Both moves require 300 MP and are Gale-based moves, so the clear choice here is Burning Phantom. As you can see, Dark Knight comes with some awesome skills to be sure, and they help contribute to making her such a well-rounded and powerful character. Honestly, Dark Knight's appearance is one of the worst in the game, in my personal opinion. From an objective point of view, the design isn't bad. It's well detailed and the red and black style is very cool. With that said, I love the scarf, cloak, and sword too. But the remaining parts of her design honestly seem, well, slatternly. It's a word, honest. I mean, I take no issue with the outfits worn by most of the female characters like Reyna and Aisha, but to me, this outfit just goes too far. I honestly feel uncomfortable playing as her as compared to every single other character in the game. With that said though, the costume isn't permanent, and her hair, the one part that remains afterward, is quite nice. This is the best part of Dark Knight. Well, okay, no it's not, but that won't stop me from being happy about it. I've played enough characters to get a feel of the job change quests, especially the first ones. Elesis has a bit of a painful first job change quest, since the Free Knight quest requires clearing 7 dungeons. However, Saber Knight requires an additional 4 dungeon clears, and Pyro Knight requires an additional 7. Dark Knight, on the other hand, she requires only 2 additional dungeon clears for a total of 9, not to mention the jump event that made this part way less painful. Overall, not bad. I can't really speak for PvP here, but Dark Knight is really easy and comfortable to play as in PvE. Her natural comboing skill allows for easy melee confrontations, and allows her to get higher combo scores than many other first job classes. The fact that she can willingly restore her own HP is also quite useful, though getting down the strategy and timing to do this effectively can be a challenge. Even if that was all Dark Knight had to offer, I'd see she was already pretty powerful. But add to that her awesome clearing ability, particularly with Ejection Buster, and you have a character that is turning her power up to 11. I didn't find Dark Knight's Awakening to be particularly useful, but maybe that's just me. From what I can tell, the use and abuse of her Gale Gauge more than makes up for it by providing the ability to heal, sometimes fully, in a single attack. I would highly recommend this character to pretty much anyone. I found her playstyle easy to get used to, and honestly, I feel like most people would. She's fun, fast, powerful, and has lots of neat little tricks up her sleeve. And if you guys thought all that was something, just wait until you see Crimson Avenger. But until she's released in North America, that's all I got for now, so thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to check out some other editorials or Let's Plays by clicking on the videos. Until next time guys, I'll see you later.